Hey guys, so Lord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Popeye Classics Torr the Terrible, not to be confused with the Goon, who in my opinion should have been named Torr the Terrible, whereas this guy should have been named the Goon. Either way, this is brought to us by the fine folks over at Boss Fight Studio and Big to Bad Toy Store, which is where I got mine, and, well, I literally got the last one. It was part of the either BBTS Mint or, collector grade edition, and so I paid a little bit more for it, but not a whole heck of a lot. It was like a couple extra dollars. It was either that or I wasn't going to have them, and, well, I'm kind of in it to win it with these Popeye figures at this point, so that is just not going to happen. So, with that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Torr has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a pair of not fist hands. I don't know why a dude this big, dressed like a thug, has no fists, but he's got like these grip hands and almost nothing to grip onto. He's got one thing to grip onto, and that's in this hand here. It's a little teacup, a microscopic teacup, and he has another open hand there. And then the two open hands I threw on him for this video. Either way, his only other accessory, if you want to call it that, is his hat, which does kind of snap onto his head. It's got a little peg on the back, and you just plop it right in, and it stays in pretty good. It's not going anywhere. Unlike some of the earlier figures where the hats just kind of fell off. Some of the later ones still kind of fall off. Rough House is a good example of that, but I think Wimpy, his hat stayed on okay. That said, speaking of which, the rest of my Popeye collection is currently in storage, so I can't do a size comparison with this guy, but I'm going to tell you right now, he's the biggest one I got. I don't know if he's quite as wide as Bluto, but he's definitely taller. And as far as his articulation goes, his head is on, I think, a double ball peg of some kind. Just pop it off. Let's see. That's a big old ball peg. And then you can take his tie off there. But it is a big old ball peg. So putting that back on. You can get all kinds of range out of that because there's literally nothing in the way. Funny how just a static ball peg can get all kinds of range, whereas some companies don't even know how to use two. Bro. Shoulders can go out. That's probably as far as they go. There you go. That's as far as it goes. So you can kind of do a T-pose. They go back down. They can rotate around like that. He's got a swivel in the elbow with a single joint there. Doesn't get you quite 90. I mean, it's alright. It's a stylized cartoon figure. I don't think he needs all the articulation in the world. But I think a 90-degree bend in the elbow would be appropriate. He does have swivel in the hand, which popping those off is no problem because you get these giant pegs. If we take his alternate hand with the coffee cup, the teacup, I should say, that will pop right in here. It's not loose or anything, but it is a little bit easier to move than the other hand. So I think it's the one he came packaged with. But he does have a ball joint in the waist. Can't really get any lean back and forth out of that, at least not from what I can tell. Pulls his arms out here. His hips can go out about, that's probably about as far as you're going to get. Keeps wanting to go, but I don't want to force it too far, but you can kick out pretty far. You can kick forward about that far, back about this far. He's got a thigh cut. Can afford some range. Swivel at the knee with a hinge, which does not get you much. It's about that much. And then he does just have ball joints in the feet that will tilt and rotate as far as his bent shoes will allow, and no peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Although the only one that really needed those was Olive Oil, because she's so skinny. She's so skinny. But yeah, definitely a bigger figure compared to what were the last ones I reviewed? Rough House and Castor Oil, which was dang near a year ago, was it? It was quite a while that I reviewed those. So at any rate, there is Torr the Terrible, who is not terrible in terms of being a figure. It's just, I wish he had fist hands. That's about my only gripe. Maybe a little bit more articulation. Just a little bit. 90 degrees out of the elbow. Doesn't seem too unreasonable, but for being a big, chunky monkey like he is, not so bad. So, before we wrap this up, because again, my Popeye figures are in storage, so I can't show you just how big he is compared to the rest of them. Here he is alongside the Mythic Legion's brother Mandibolith, who wants to drop his mace again. Knock it off. If I can get this big guy to hold a teacup, you can hold that. But there he is. And we also have the infamous Kurt 11 Spawn, who still towers over everyone, but like I said, if I had another Popeye figure handy, you'd get an idea of just how big this guy is in comparison to them. I would say he's probably about the same size as one of those deluxe Origins figures from the 2000X cartoon collection by Mattel. But this isn't one of those videos, so I'm not bringing one of those out. So that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and if you wanted a Popeye classic figure that could easily break a window or your arch nemesis's jaw, then good old Torr the Terrible is your man. This thing is a hunk chunk burning plastic in every sense of the word. I meant it when I said this thing feels like it weighs a pound and feels like it could do some serious damage if chucked at a high enough velocity. I wouldn't suggest doing that because he's kind of hard to find now. Myself, got the last one on Big Bad Toy Store, and it was part of the Big Bad Mint collection, so it was a little bit more of a collector grade, if that makes sense. But I'd say it's worth every penny still. Yeah, I'd probably paid a little bit extra for it. But, like I said, there's so much plastic. And sometimes you just can't go wrong with so much plastic. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.